some MPs and other political leaders calling for the retention of experienced MPs in the House. This, they believe, will strengthen the capacity of Parliament to pass good laws. Well, Parliament is not the only area reserved for the adults. Other positions in governance and our social life have also seen widespread exclusion of young people who believe they're brimming with fresh ideas and ready to also participate in nation building. For instance, to even have the dream of becoming a president of Ghana, you'll have to wait until you are above 40 years old, and it'll take many trials and attempts until you're old, and then you'll realize you've run out of energy to do anything meaningful. That's why today a forum for such young people was held in Accra to try and help boost their confidence in taking their pride of place. It was organized by Youth Bridge Foundation, and I was fortunate enough to be there to interact with them. Now, in the studio with us is Seth Otting. He's the Executive Director of Youth Bridge Foundation. In a while, I'll bring you the conversation that I had with some of the participants at this event. But it's good to have you in the studio, Seth. Thank you very much for making the time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, Youth Bridge obviously has been in the space for quite a while. You've been concerning yourselves with youth leadership. Now you've made a rather overt call. You want young people to stand up and be counted and actually go for parliamentary positions and seek to be nominated for parliamentary positions in the upcoming primaries of the major political parties. Now, this afternoon, one of the things that I was curious about was the fact that this call is going out to young people, asking them to do this. Why do they need to be told? Is there anything stopping young people from standing up and being counted when it comes to political leadership?
Thanks again for having me. You know, classical of the Ghanaian culture. Children, younger ones, are to be seen and not to be heard. The reverse applies. You can be seen or you can be heard, but do not sit at the table with us. So we stuck with the situation of long-term marginalization. So there's no opportunity for grooming. So even when, you know, the classical example of tie a sheep around a tree, and
even when you let it free.
Even when you let it free, it's still hanging, hovering around the same tree. That is the situation we find ourselves in.
So young people have been indoctrinated into thinking they can't contribute?
That they can't contribute, they are not capable, and there's no avenue. You may try, but you can't go far. And even to gather that courage to contest and experience an elderly person, your parents might call you at home, hey, Kofi, what is the only way only way see? Please, me patron, So you have the elderly coming to you, begging of you to stay because it will be disrespectful towards the elderly. So these are some of the challenges that we think that sustained marginalization. Come to think of the youth are themselves the majority. So sustained marginalization of this majority is not good for us as a country.
This is the thing that fascinates me. You said it yourself, the youth are in the majority.
Yes.
They are stronger. They clearly have access to more information. Yet somehow the weaker, older minority are controlling them. Does that in itself not suggest that the youth perhaps are not yet equipped for leadership? If they can allow themselves to be manipulated by, you know, an older and less equipped population?
I would not agree with you on that. Going back to what I said earlier, it's the same issue of respect. See, the power distance, respect for authority. Who are you to challenge an elderly person? But it is time we get a youth empowered through information, yes, but to know that to stand up against such issues does not mean being disrespectful, but seizing the moment to take your place and speak to the issue that concerns you. So, but a long-term marginalization is what is not helping us. It's time civil society groups, the youth themselves, the media, majority of whom are youth, should join campaign to say that it is possible that we could make it. Capacity, yes, they have, but it's also to one side. You see, let me say that this is a two-pronged approach, where you inspire and challenge others on the field of playing, like in sports, cheer them on, that it's possible you could make it. The flip side of the coin, you also have to advocate and lobby, engage, request that the space is equally created for these young ones to come in.
Right.
Okay, so I would say that it's a double-sided approach that we're looking at. Yeah.
Now, I know that Youth Bridge Foundation is very keen to see the back of this law that says you have to be 40 before you can run for president in Ghana. But there are some who say that is just common sense. I mean, if you're going to be president, you have to have some exposure. And exposure, I mean, sadly, it comes with time. You know, the longer you've been on earth, the more you've seen. So is 40 not a fair, common sense age from which, you know, presidential ambition can then begin?
You know, that is a challenge we have in this part of our world, where intelligence, maturity is equated with longevity. That you could only be considered as matured, intelligent, and ready when you are old. That is the problem we have. There are examples around the globe, and trends, things are changing, where you'd find presidents across the globe who are younger and tested and tried. They are paving the way to say that it's possible. So I would not agree that you would have to be old to be considered matured and ready enough to lead. We see most of the exciting things that younger ones are coming up with. Innovation, technology. What would have taken someone 3 weeks or 4 weeks to refer in Parliament, research on, would take a young person a day or two, or even few hours to pick up the information and move on.
Right.
So if there is any advantage that we have today, comparatively, then I would say the younger generation have a comparative advantage of tapping into technology to give them an edge.
Now, there's also the other side. Okay, young people today are expected to step up and take opportunities. That's what you are trying to encourage them to do. But young people in this country have formed unemployed graduates associations. They seem to be embracing futility, the fact that, well, there's nothing we can do about it, you know, and expecting others to solve their problems for them. Is there not a fundamental job first of changing the mindset of young people before you push them into leadership?
The campaign, as I mentioned, we adopted a two-pronged approach, two-sided approach. We're not saying create a space and give it to them. We're asking the younger generation or the youth to themselves. The charge, as we said, is for themselves to seize the moment. Seizing the moment requires some level of preparation, level of submission to mentorship, level of submission to grooming, and being conscious of the fact that I want to be there. So yes, they have these because, as you rightly put it, they've accepted the status quo, which is not acceptable. So we have come in to say, wake up, it's not possible, it's possible that you could make it. Come on, let's go. And let's be mindful of the fact that because of the long-term marginalization, they may possibly not know how to approach the issue. You might ask some young people to come to table for discussions, and they wouldn't know what to ask for because they would not be part of that discussions. God forbid, let someone's father or parents die. You see the family elders gathered, and they tell the son, in Pemfuni Kushia, let the adults meet and decide and plan. So we're not part of such planning. Now you get old, you get to a certain point, you realize you've not been prepared for such meetings, you don't know. So what we're doing is that let us get our young people to know it is possible. Guys, let's go. Now, they may require some technical support. How to speak, how to engage, the diplomacy, how to ask. These are some skills, soft skills, that are equally needed. So we're not just making a demand, but we're equally offering a support platform for these younger ones.
We'll talk more about what the Youth Bridge Foundation wants to do to support them on another occasion.
Yes.
But just to wrap up, you've said that there is a need for young people to also receive mentorship, and learn some of these skills that they may not have. But they're going to get this mentorship from the same old people who we are saying generally are not the best people for the job, and younger people would do a better job. So isn't there a paradox here that we're seeking them to mentor the ones who we are hoping will come and do something different?
No, because you got it wrong. We're not saying that they are not fit for the job. Generational dialogue, generational systems need to be nurtured. So the generational systems, as we talk, is a program we are looking at that we're calling for it to be nurtured. Could be in the political space, in the corporate space, even in the family environment. These are different systems that require that nurturing. And nurturing means that you have someone. I was excited when I just saw Kojo Ponkroma. First time in Parliament, groomed, refined. Haruna Idrisu.
He's a minister as well.
He's as well. Haruna Idrisu. Sam, Isaac Esiama, Honorable Isaac Esiama, went to a very young age. Samuel Kujotu, when he went, of course, had their hands a bit, soiled, made up. But we've seen them matured. Of course, they went through the grooming, the leadership of the Chairman Sabonsu, the Safo Marfos, the experienced one. But they understudied this, Bagwin and the rest, understudied these ones, and today they've had 3 terms. Give the younger ones opportunity, but let me say one major missing link is the disconnect between the MPs and the youthful generation. This is one gap that we would seek to bridge, so that at least they are not disconnected from the aspirations of the younger ones. Whilst they get mentored, they should not forget the youth aspiration outside. Through that, we will together be mindful, nurtured, and we will take the spirit. Soon when they are gone, they would have others who would be there to take their space.
I want to thank you very much for spending the time with us to help us understand what the Youth Bridge Foundation seeks to do. That's Seth Otting speaking to us there.